TNT Reading Pro offers hundreds of different exercises that test and train reading skills. Each reading mastery step has 6 different programs. 3 of these programs focus on specific reading skills. The other 3 programs are cognitive-based. These cognitive training programs use the reading skills trained in the 3 reading programs, but focus on developing specific cognitive abilities such as working memory and mental processing speed. Each of the 6 programs and each step are divided into several levels. These levels train small sections such as a group of 5 letter sounds to help achieve mastery. At each of these levels, the player has 3 training exercises to complete. A test phase to assess the reading skills of the selected level is also available and is used to determine whether the player has learned a particular skill. Let's take a look at some examples of reading exercises. In this basic training exercise, the player is presented with a drawing. Each piece of the drawing has a word in it. You can move the arrow over a word to hear it. The goal of this exercise is to find all of the words that rhyme. Each time the player finds a correct word, a piece of the drawing will be colored in. When all of the rhyming words are correctly identified, the drawing transforms into a photograph. In this next exercise, called background sounds training, the player has to listen to the word said by each sheep and find the words that rhyme. While the words are presented, distracting background sounds are played that the player has to ignore in order to complete this task successfully. 8. Scale. Grade. Shade. Slate. Wade. Rake. Blade. Excellent. The test phase can be used as an assessment tool. If a player passes a test and shows mastery, they are ready to move on to the next level. In this test phase exercise, the player has to remember the word said by the big pig. Each of the piglets will say a word and the player needs to find the words that rhyme with the given word. Clay. Flame. Case. Bay. Hay. Click on the piglets that said words that rhyme with clay. Outstanding! Now let's take a look at some cognitive exercise examples. In this speed training exercise, the player needs to remember a list of 3 compound words. Submarines will then descend down the screen. Some of the subs will have a word on them. The player will need to find the compound words in the reverse order of how they were presented. As the player answers correctly, the submarines will descend faster. The player has to find the correct subs before they reach the bottom of the screen. This exercise trains both working memory and mental processing speed. Fantastic! The cognitive exercises also have a test phase to assess whether the player has achieved mastery of the skill being trained. In this test phase example, the player is given parts of compound words and has to remember where each part is located. The player is then presented with a compound word. The player has to find the parts that make up the given compound word. Horse. Pine. Pop. Flower. Shell. Find the 2 words that make up the compound word. Flower. Pop. Well done! TNT Reading also has many reading comprehension exercises that are useful in helping a student learn the tools needed to understand what is read. In the reading comprehension exercise presented here, the player is asked to look closely at the picture. This picture represents a main idea. The player has to find the title that matches the main idea of the picture. The player will collect jewels as they answer correctly, but if they are not careful, an elf will steal the jewels if a mistake is made. Give it another go. TNT Reading Pro offers a wide variety of exercises that keep the student entertained so they can enjoy learning. The student is also rewarded with game breaks and certificates for demonstrating success when they pass an exercise. All of these features help to motivate the student by making the learning process fun and rewarding. This concludes the TNT Reading Pro instructional video series.